Oh damn, we're back. Hey everyone, Joe here from ActionX. Welcome to What's in the Tuber. Welcome back. If this is your third High School Musical, the musical, this series, Season 4 episode review. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're staying safe out there in the bigger world. Yeah, so I've decided to... Well, we're going to see how this goes. I haven't really done much test shots yet. This is the first one. To go back to this setup. It's been a while, you know, obviously this is the last run of High School Musicals, so if this looks well, we might wrap up the whole ship like this, you know, kind of come full circle, type of thing. And ironically, this is kind of like, this episode is also the perfect embodiment of, like, coming full circle in a way. We got references to, like, stuff back from Season 1 and just how, you know, the acknowledgement of the journey so far, how they're wrapping up the ship. And honestly, you know, we're finally getting like a legendary cameo this week. I was like so excited, so happy. Same with the cast, and I feel like this is like again continuing the story pretty well. You know, it's not too fast, it's not too slow. They're seeming at a good pace, but like you know, again, I'm still concerned about similar to how I was during the first and third season. Like, is there enough time to tell? Because these are half-hour episodes, so like they only have 4 hours to tell the story, and then we're done. So that's what I'm a little concerned about, even now. Being in the third episode mark, there's still so much more ground to cover, and I'm not really sure how it's going to wrap up. But with that being said, let's go for the Butcher recap and talk about this week's episode of High School Musical, the musical, the series. So we begin with the news. Yes, Gina will be the brand new star, the female lead for High School Musical 4, the reunion. She'll be taking over Danny's part. It's first day on set. Ricky is walking Gina at the brink of morning at 6 a.m. in the morning to her first day, which I'm like, the commitment of this man that he knows thou shalt not fucked up again. And he's actually like, you know, so committed to bring her to set. And, you know, they're just like, you know, that he's willing to do this every day, you know, to walk with her every morning, talk about it, just spend any amount of time together. That's a sign that the man is truly in love with someone. Of course, I'm going to call him a simp or like too obsessed. But like, you know, for me, I'm going to call him, you know, he's a very appropriate man. He's doing the right thing. So to speak. So Gina's off on her first day on set. It's mostly a rehearsal day. It's the first day of rehearsals for the High School Musical 3 play. Sans they're missing a lot of roles. It does not matter. They're doing the very best they can. As they have no Chad, their Gabrielle is currently out shooting the real thing. And a couple other things are just not filled yet because just the lack of a big cast. Like, you know, they're a little worried, but like, you know, hopefully they're able to like really steer the ship. Courtney's working on her college reports, her college applications, which Ricky also is completely oblivious to and does not want to approach that idea just quite yet. But yeah, so Courtney also gives Seb an update and gives Carlos an update about Seb. About what he's up to. Apparently, Seb and his family has decided to start a coffee truck and start to provide craft services for the HSM4 set. And it's just like, oh no, Carlos, like now that you have a location, you're going to be bothering the man. And she's like, yeah, but he didn't mention a single thing about you. So, them's a break. They're about to start. They're going to start up with the, weirdly enough, they decided to start up with a pivotal scene on the rooftop during that iconic scene in the movie, and they're about to start. And thankfully, Gina is able to participate in rehearsals today because Miss Darvis's actress's plane is running a little bit late, so she's gonna be 2 hours behind schedule. That gives Gina enough time to participate in at least the full rehearsal, which is great. This is like, you know, really great news for them, so they can, you know, actually pursue forward into this. Also, Ricky's alluding to the fact he has a big surprise to their full cast as they're missing one actor to play Chad, but he'll have that fixed momentarily. So I want to say, yeah, so Gina also finishes up, you know, so everyone's ready to go. They're ready to start the scene. It's going pretty well, you know, obviously, you know, Miss Jen's like, you know, this time we're just going bare bones. Let's just go for the actual structure, rehearse, get the general feel of it, and then we'll go forward with that. But you know what? It's the 4th season. We gotta go a little bit extra. So when it comes time to the actual, you know, the song, Can I Have It? I Have This Stand. This is so, like, I'm gonna be honest with you. I still hold, like, obviously it shouldn't be a competition between the movie and the show, because obviously there's some points where the show does it a little bit better, and sometimes the movie obviously does it clearly superior. This is one of those cases where, like, I still prefer the movie version better because, again, it's the actual scene. This is, like, more like, you know, them trying to impress everyone where they're actually doing the dance. And honestly, everyone's just so shocked of how, like, well choreographed. They need rehearsal. This is, like, a one, and even, like, Carlos gives them the seal of approval. Like, yeah, I have no notes. Like, you know, we literally do not have to rehearse this anymore because, like, you guys got this. You guys nailed this already. Apparently, they were rehearsing this since 3 in the morning. So I'm like... damn, y'all like really need more sleep. Y'all need more beauty sleep. Honestly, again, what fantastic job. Like, you know, they actually do like the actual choreography just like actually limited in the dance studio. So that's honestly pretty cool. I find it a little bit dickish that Ricky, when like he's about to lift Gina up, like he pushes everyone's backpacks out of the way to give Gina the platform, which I'm like, brah, you don't know, there probably was a class project in there, or someone's lunch. That's kind of rude. Anywho, so that goes well. They're supposed to go to the next scene, which was going to be Chad's scene. Obviously, they don't have a Chad, or do they have a Chad? Thankfully, Ricky called in a few favors, and like, you know what? They're the fan favorites from last season, so we're going to bring them back full time this season. Jet and Maddox have arrived at East High School. Jet is officially transferred there because apparently he sucked in his first few days in his new school after he got expelled from his previous school. So he's hoping that, you know, East High is going to provide them with the fresh start what they need. And Maddox has gotten a job on the PA team for the movie. So hell, that means they're both here for the entire fall season, which is great. Obviously, they need Jet to fill in for Chad. I get the feeling that Emmy has a crush on Jet, which I'm like, oh boy, that'll be interesting. But yeah, so Jet's here. He's going to be playing Chad going forward, which I'm like, this is great. You know, they definitely do need to fill that roster. So now they got everyone. However, sadly, Maddox has to interrupt rehearsal as she gets the news that Miss Darbus has arrived, and everyone is due on set to shoot the pivotal Miss Darbus scene in the movie. So they're heading off. They're heading off there. And I want to say, yeah, so they head off. They all head off there except for Gina, who's worried because like this is the first big scene she's doing for a movie, and she's scared that she's gonna fumble, she's gonna make a mistake. Miss Jan Man just get a copy of the High School Musical 4 script, which I'm like, I kind of would probably find it surreal that you know, again, like obviously in universe that, you know, she got to be in the first movie, and here it is, she's holding the script for the fourth movie, and she's just like, she just reads Bailey's, you know, character description, said, this is you. Like, this is you. You are this character. It's a character that comes to East High as a sophomore with no friends, no sense of like identity, no sense of belonging. This was literally you a year ago. And now you get to channel that energy into this performance. This role was made for you. So she gives Gina the boost that she needs to like pursue forward. So they're getting ready to go into hair and makeup. Maddox and Ashley resume their weird flirtatious ship again. Like in Ashley just does not know how to speak. She does not know. Also, I forgot to mention we did have a conversation about I forgot if I mentioned this in the last episode or it was this one, but I remember she talks to Carlos about like, you know, why haven't you told Big Red that you are queer? And she's like, well, I don't want to tell him that because I didn't want to like step on his whole moment that I'm bisexual. So I'm like, he definitely wanted to keep that. She didn't want to take the thunder from him, which honestly, it does make sense. But I just find it weird that, like, again, like you have not told your boyfriend and he's now literally into a whole nother country. So I have no idea what the reaction is to that. But her clearly flirting with Maddox, and Maddox obviously kind of reciprocating the energy. And it's like, you know, she's like the tradition, like, I'm doing great in text. I don't know why we can't talk in person, which I'm like, that's the difference. You're seeing her beautiful face for the first time, like, in months. So I'm like, of course you're going to feel flabbergasted. Of course. There's also a scene where Courtney is talking to Jet about, like, hey, like, when we were watching the documentary, it was like, kind of like, you kind of had a thing for me. And I'm like, did he have a thing for you? I don't remember that. I don't think that was the thing. I think that was something the documentary made up, but then now Jet's like considering canon, which I'm like, I don't know whatsoever. But yeah, so even Jet's like, you know, still like coy of like, does Courtney like me? Well, like, dude, I forgot what age he's supposed to be. I don't know if he's supposed to be a senior or a junior, but I'm like, I don't know. I'm losing track here. But anyway, so they go into wardrobe. Everyone's getting ready. They're in the Miss Darbus classroom, which is, and I love how they say, oh, it's a recreation of the original. Well, like, well, technically not really. The backdrop is clearly not the same thing, but the front is like, this is like OG stuff here. Like, oh my God, this is like so great. Gina's outside rehearsing her lines, and then she overhears Mac talking to Allison Reed, Miss Darbus's actress, about just his concern about Gina, like, you know, her taking over the lead with having no experience, no real IMDb credit to her name. Like, was this the right choice to like bring her up to like being the lead for this movie? And Allison Reed's like, you know, like, just like, again, welcome back. It's been so long. I remember she was supposed to come back earlier back in 2011 when she was supposed to do that Madison High spinoff. But yeah, so just seeing them together, just seeing her back is like, you know, so breathtaking to see her again. And even like, he's like, I have my concern, but I'm going to do my best and like do what I can. And then she's just like, damn, actors. So yeah, so they head in. Everyone's getting ready for the big scene. We're getting more. Courtney's also writing up her college recommendation papers while she's doing the scene. Ricky's obviously trying to, like, you know, do his best to support his girlfriend, but at the same time, like, you know, realizing the guy that she used to have a crush with is literally right in front of her. So I'm like, he's a little bit alarmed for concern. Once Miss Darvis's actress does peck in, it's like, I feel sorry that our Wildcats never got to have a proper, genuine, like, moment with it. And again, like, we're not supposed to have that. Like, we're not supposed to. Like, you know, they, like, the feeling of, like, you know, like, this isn't, like, something from a different show that, you know, can have, like, these sort of legacy crossover, like, they don't really know them. Like, you know, it can't be like, oh my God, I know you, or I know you. Like, obviously you can be excited, and it's like, you know, I don't know. I really don't know. I think I'll talk more about it in the season 4 review. But yeah, I was really a little bit bummed they weren't able to have like a true interaction with Miss Darby. It was more like we're limited by the scene, we're limited by the performance, and then we're gonna move forward from here. So they kick off the scene straight from the lines from the last episode, and it's obviously a little bit more better flow. I think, you know, in general that Gina's a better actress than Danny. So she's able to channel that performance pretty well. Miss Darby goes into her, like, one of her monologue scenes, which, like, I miss this so much. As much as the director hates it, I love it. And also, I love the little aside where, like, you know, actually, no, we're not there yet. We're not there yet. So Miss Darby's talking, like, in her character, like, saying, like, it's time for me to say goodbye, you know, but it's not goodbye. Like, the teachings I inspired in everyone and all my students will pass on further, so the spirit of me will live on. I honestly, that was, like, really cool. Again, it's also channeling what our Wildcats are doing. Obviously, this is the final season for them. You know, saying, like, it's never goodbye. It's, like, you know, more like, you know, you're going to say hello in a new fashion at some point. Which, honestly, I find really respectful, and I found that really cool to say. Gina actually continues the scene beyond that, because she's able to feel emotional being in that similar position right now, where, like, she's not graduating this year, but, like, she has to say goodbye to Ricky and Courtney, who are leaving by this year. And, you know, that's going to be different next year, where, like, she wouldn't have either of them. Like, you know, obviously she'll probably have the new generation of drama kids next by her side. I guess that was the original pitch, but, like, at the end of the day, like, this is goodbye. This is a very much a goodbye moment for them. And the way, like, she does it, like, even Miss Darby has to hug her. It's like, I'm pretty sure the actress was not comfortable with that, because, like, this wasn't in the script, but you know what? You do it for the scene, and it works out until Ricky goes over, like, you know, excited about, you know, Gina's performance, ruining the scene, and the director's like, okay, we can edit that in post, but you are out of here. Like, I don't want you here anymore. So Ricky gets kicked out. They decide to resume the scene with Miss Darby's kind of, like, you know, having a more shaky cam feel, and I love the line that she says, where, like, I miss Kenny Ortega, which I like. We all do, man. We miss, man. We all miss him so much. Ricky's off getting de-dressed, getting, like, back into his normal civilian gear, thinking about what Courtney said about college and everything. And then, surprisingly, well, for me, because I completely forgot he was in the season again, the teacher, Mr. Oh, God, I forget his name. It starts with an M, too. He's back, you know, the one who got offered a teaching job at MIT. He's back. He decided to come back to East High, which I'm like, really? Like, you had a good paying job. The woman you were briefly interested in is clearly into another man, so I'm like, are you sure you made the right choice? I'm pretty sure it was more like, oh, it's the final season, let's bring him back, like, you know, like, have him say goodbye too, which I'm like, okay, that's fair, like, why not? But, like, still, it's like, I find it kind of weird that, like, you write him off and then you bring him back. So, like, he's giving Ricky advice of, like, hey, look, here's a college checklist. Go do what you got to do. If you need my help, I'm here for you. If you want to ask Miss Jen, your parents, any adults, like, you know, there's a support system for you. There will always be a path for you to figure out what to do next. So he takes it. I want to say the day wraps for that day. I know Gina and Mac have a scene together where they talk about how Mac's, like, very impressed with, like, Gina's performance in the scene, and Gina's like, yeah, that's just I kind of grew up with it. And Mac's like, yeah, well, I would love to get some pointers from you. And she's like, yeah, like, well, let's cut a deal. Like, you teach me how to be a star, and I'll teach you to be a teen. I'm like, Gina, why are you making this deal? Why? Just why? You already know your boyfriend's like low-key a jealous person. I'm like, okay. Regardless of what that may be, afterwards, Miss Jen gets Emmy, who I guess Emmy becomes her new Carlos for the season since Carlos is busy on the movie. Emmy gets Gina scheduled for the entire rest of the day and the week, and I'm like, Gina has been written into more scenes because of her performance, so definitely they're going to try and make her the breakout star of this movie, but at the same time, it's going to suffer with the musical. So definitely that's going to be a concern for Miss Jen to handle with. I know Carlos eventually starts stalking Seb with the coffee, and Seb is like trying to be very pointed, punctual, like say like, listen, I'm at work. I can't talk to you. If you want a coffee, go ahead, but I cannot talk to you. And Carlos comes back multiple times, getting 5 coffees in him, and he's like, I'm going to stay here until we have a conversation. And Seb's like, no. Which I'm like, okay, we'll leave it up there. We'll come back to it another day. Ricky talks to Jen about just everything going on with like if Gina's like making more being put more time into the movie, and then at the same time less time in the musical, and then less time for just anything else, that puts their time spent together at a big decrease, and he doesn't want that. Jen being like the more rational, like I'm still kind of new around here, like obviously is the one like actually making sense of like, well, what would you do about it? Because like, you know, obviously the Ricky we saw in season 1 would have tried to get the movie shut down, but like that's not him anymore. He has to be supportive. He has to be supportive of the person he's with's dreams. We clearly saw how that didn't work out last time, so he has to this time, and he's like, okay, I'll be supportive. I will do my best to be the best supportive boyfriend I can be. Courtney goes to talk to the same teacher that Ricky talked to again about her college recommendation letter. And he's like, wow, this is perfect. This is such a great, amazing paper. This is not what colleges want. They don't want perfection. They want truth. They want raw emotion, raw, I keep saying raw a lot, like actual human being in this moment, and you are just too perfect. You cannot be like this, because they will look at you as being a fake person. They don't want a fake person. Yes, grades and extracurriculars are important, but at the same time, who you are as a person is what they want to hear, what they want to see. So she rips up her paper right in front of her, and she's like, yeah, have fun. Go start there. Like, look at your imperfections and go from there, which I'm like, what the hell does that mean? Like, you're being vague, Mr. Teacher. You're being super vague. Eventually, I want to say as we're winding down, Ricky surprises Gina with like, you know, making her trailer all nice and fancy, all nice and decorative, like, you know, being the supportive boyfriend. He makes a callback, supposed to season 1, where your first time for anything is never going to be perfect. You're never going to get everything in one take, but all you can do is just keep trying again. And Gina proved the opposite, where like she was able to get like the entire scene done in one take, which is not impossible, but like, it's very rare to see, because like, you know, you have to stir up all the emotions and everything, so it can be a much more difficult ordeal. So definitely that was something like that was positive towards them in that front. Again, like, you know, they're going to find a way to make it work. You know, they're going to find a way to like, you know, stay together, make their relationship work, make the musical work, make the movie work. Like, there's so many things against them, but like, they're going to try their best to fight to keep themselves going in this direction. Miss Jen calls up, well, she tries to call up Danny to get her to come over and like join their team. So like, because like, you know, if they don't have their Gabriella, they need a Gabriella, because like you can't have High School Musical 3 without Gabriella, so they need a Gabriella. So and since they don't have like the rules for understudies, which actually is kind of weird, because like she didn't decide anyone to have understudy roles, which is kind of weird to see. So I find that to be interesting. But yeah, so I believe after that point, I want to say, yeah, so she calls her up. It doesn't really work. She reunites with the teacher, and he's like, I miss you. Like, I need you right now. I need like, actual words of wisdom for once. And then I want to say, yeah, I think that's when we're wrapping it up a little bit from here. But yeah, so Ricky is like, you know, still checking out his college to do. Again, what is he doing in the school building at like 7 o'clock at night? I really don't know. Like, I'm pretty sure he's waiting for Gina to come out so they can walk home together. But I'm like, dude, like, go home. You need sleep. Then Danny comes in all of a sudden. Apparently, she must have gotten the voice memo from Miss Jen and like is already here to accept. But she talks to Ricky like, hey, like, listen, heard you guys need a Gabriella. And Ricky's kind of dumbfounded because, like, he knows they need a full-time Gabriella, but at the same time, that's Gina he's talking about, his girlfriend. He doesn't want to really, like, let her go, but I'm like, they kind of really don't have much of an option there. Gina, who's about to get ready to go home, has Mac come into her trailer and, like, decides, like, yeah, I'll accept your offer. You teach me how to be a teen, I'll teach you how to be a star. And our first step is that we're going to pretend to be a celebrity couple to get attention, positive attention on ourselves. Like, oh no, not this. We're not doing this angle. Oh god, this is gonna end horribly. Like, Big Time Rush did this once, and I'm like, this is not gonna end well whatsoever. This is not gonna end well. But yeah, Gina gets his real phone number, and that's the end of the episode with her dumbfounded the fact that her childhood crush has literally offered her to be her fake boyfriend while she has a real boyfriend. So in my head, I'm like, well, shit. I wonder what happens next. But that was it for this week's episode of High School Musical, the musical, the series. Again, I really, really enjoyed it. Miss Darbus coming back. Obviously, like, not to the full extent that I would have preferred, but just her being Miss Darbus again with new lines is like so. We were not blessed with that Madison High spinoff. We should have gotten that just for more Miss Darbus. But yeah, so it was just, oh my god, like, just seeing her again was just, I think that was, like, the cream of the cake for this episode. But no, Gina killed it. Like, she's definitely showing her prowess. She's making her mark finally. Definitely now, like, the wheels are turning with Mac and Danny, like, trying to infect Ricky and Gina's relationship, not probably on purpose, but for their own personal benefits, is a little bit scary. Seeing Maddox and Jet back in the East High family, the Wildcat family, is, like, great to see, because, you know, they made such, like, you know, lasting friendship back at summer camp that, like, now we're, like, here full time with them. It's like, it's going to be great now. It's going to be even better. You know, obviously it's a slow burn this season. We're still missing some things, but I'm like, I can't wait to see what more they have left in store for us. And yeah, like, definitely just the current dynamic is just wow. It's just perfectly wow. And also shout out to them doing their own version of Can I Have This Dance. So far, every adaptation, I know we've only had 2, but, like, it's been perfect / in their own way perfection, and that is, like, the best thing that you can do right now with this show. But with that being said, I'm giving this episode 2 thumbs up. I enjoyed it very, very much. Let me know in the comments below what you think of this week's episode of High School Musical, the music of the series. I would love to hear your comments down below, as always. But I believe that's going to do it for me today, everyone. So if you're unaware, this has been What's the 2 from ActionX, reviewing every episode in the final season of High School Musical, the music of the series. If you want to know what we're doing normally, What's the 2 besides our High School Musical, the musical, the series, we are currently doing Nancy Drew and Heels episode reviews each and every week after brand new episodes on their respective platforms every single week so far. However, if you only care about High School Musical, you're in luck. We'll be back, I believe, in a couple of days from now for the next episode review, because, again, we have Nancy Drew, then we have a Heels review, so we're kind of all over the place a little bit, so I do apologize for that. But, again, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't yet, like, favorite, share if you want to, ring the bell, and follow us on social media. But until we see each other again, for all you Wildcats out there, thank you so much for supporting, and, yeah, I'll see you next week. But until then, stay safe out there, be good to each other, and as always,